So what do you guys think? You think the twin turbo V6 in the CT4 is a better engine than the LT4 supercharged V8? Thank you to my loyal follower and good friend, John Somerville, for bringing up his beautiful new CT5V Blackwing so I could do a video on it. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy it. Holy cow. I bet you guys can't guess what I'm driving now. But I went from the CT4V Blackwing to now the CT5V Blackwing. So this is not going to be a true side-by-side comparison of the cars. However, what it's going to be is a comparison of the engines, because that's what I'm more wanting to know. How much better, if better, is the LT4 being a 6.2 liter V8 that's supercharged over a V6 that's twin turbo. The twin turbo V6 has 470 horsepower. This has 668 horsepower, almost 200 horsepower more than the CT4V Blackwing. And you can tell right away, oh my gosh, this thing has the power. I mean, third gear pulls so strong and it rides so smooth. Now, one thing I'm missing is the rev match. There we go. There's that rev match, the music to my ears. I mean, even in second gear, it wants to kind of get loose. I'm hardly going to be able to talk without laughing and smiling in this video because of how fun this car is. And I've barely even driven it. I've been in it for a couple minutes now. Man. Right now the traction control is on. It's in my mode. Let's see what we do if we go to sport mode. I mean, even in third gear, it's having some trouble hooking up. This is incredible. I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can hear that, because that is the sound of an LT4. And this thing is already a blast to drive. Oh my gosh. Got a little loose around that turn. That's okay though. It didn't even feel like I had anything to worry about at all. I mean, this car just, it never gets old. So down here, the controls are exactly the same as the CT4V. If my memory serves me correctly, the screen is exactly the same. It might be a little bit bigger. It might actually have a little bit more of a slant to it as well. And these brakes, they're not the carbon ceramic brakes, but they do slow you down very, very quickly. As you can see, this thing just puts you back in your seat and there's no leaning forward when you're in it. What a beast. And I will say this, I never got to say this in the CT4V video, but I loved the heavy clutch that was in that CT4V. My Camaro SS has a very light clutch. I don't understand it. This car has an even heavier clutch than the CT4V had, and I'm having to get used to it, but it feels great. So I'm driving this amazing, luxurious CT5V Blackwing, and the seat is massaging me while I'm driving. So this one's really suitable to just put it in comfort mode, put the classical music on, and relax. So the difference so far in the two motors, I mean, they're going to be obvious differences, but the torque in this car has that twin turbo beat by a long shot. I didn't know how it would do as far as the difference in torque, because twin turbos are very torquey. This thing just has instant get up and go because of that supercharger. It has zero lag. I mean, even in fifth gear, it just goes. So I like that. Obviously it has almost 200 more horsepower, so there's no contest in power. Sound, this is not as loud as I thought it would be. I really truly thought that they would make the LT4 as loud or close to as loud as a Z06. So little disappointed in the sound, but I mean, don't get me wrong, it still sounds phenomenal and it still sounds better than the twin turbo V6, but that V6 definitely had a great sound to it. Now the looks on the inside and out of this car are very similar to the CT4, except for the fact that this does not have any of the aggressive aero pieces on it. Especially the rear spoiler is not the aggressive Blackwing rear spoiler. So I would like it a little bit better on the outside if it had that. I think this is lacking a little bit of aggressive look that I think this car deserves. In fact, I don't understand why GM would make such an expensive, you know, top of the line Cadillac that's meant to go on the track and meant for, you know, high speed without the top of the line aero automatically put on there. But they don't, you know, everything's a la carte, but it needs it, because otherwise from the front of this car, it kind of just looks like a normal Cadillac. Just so it needs a bigger front splitter, it needs a bigger side skirt, and it definitely needs a bigger rear spoiler for sure. I'm on the highway, I'm in sport. We're gonna go ahead and go back to tour mode. Tour mode has the plushest suspension, and wow, I mean, what a smooth ride this is. Sixth gear, rolling along, a fantastic ride. Now let's go to track. Wow. Surprisingly, track is still extremely smooth. Now the steering tightens up big time, and the acceleration seems to be a little bit crisper. So you guys are gonna wanna know if this is a practical car, as I usually talk about. You know what? It is, if you can afford it. This is actually very practical. It has a larger back seat than that CT4 had. It's a little bit less practical than that car because of the fact that it has so much power. So there's really nothing practical about having almost 700 horsepower in a car. But you know what? If you can afford a Cadillac, a high-end Cadillac like this, and you've got a family, and you know, or maybe you don't have a family, it doesn't really matter. Either way, if you can afford it, buy it, because you're gonna have a blast. You can have 4 people in here very comfortably, and that's what matters. You're probably gonna say, well, there's a lot more cars that you can buy for $106,000 that would be more fun. You're correct, but you can't fit 4 people comfortably in those cars. So I would highly recommend this to anyone that is looking for this type of power with this much room and luxury. And you know, this steering wheel, just like the CT4, it's nice and thick. It's got the red stripe on it. It also has the same exact V button and the Ferrari-esque you know, going through the modes switch or toggle switch right here as well. So as you can see, it is exactly the same as the CT4V Blackwing. Take this turn a little fast. The fun factor in this car, I would say, is a 10 out of 10, just like that CT4. It's really, really great to drive. If you haven't driven one of these yet, what are you waiting for? Get in one of these, drive it. I mean, it may not be the easiest thing in the world to get a hold of, but if you can go to a Cadillac dealer and they'll let you take one out, you should definitely try them out. Now, you may want the 10-speed in your CT5 or CT4. Not me. That would get rid of some of the fun factor in this car. That would make it too luxurious, where you just felt like, yeah, I drive a fast Cadillac, but it's just not as fun. I think that would get rid of quite a bit of the fun you would have. I prefer the manual transmission. This makes the car so much more fun, so much more enjoyable, rowing through the gears, having the rev match. I mean, listen to that, folks. Why would you not want that? And it just shifts so smoothly. You can tell it handles really, really well too, and I'm not even in a track mode handling situation. Maybe one of these days I'll get to track one of these cars and show you guys how phenomenal it would be out on a race course. I mean, just ripping through that turn like it was nothing. So if you own a CT5V Blackwing and you track it and you live in the DFW area, shoot me an email, bos2020c8@gmail.com. Let's get it out on the track. I'd love to drive it on the track. Some of the quirkiness of this car is it's got a seat belt that adjusts as you're like pulling out of a parking lot, making a turn. So little interesting there. I like it. It kind of pulls you back into, I mean, it you know, kind of pulls you into the seat tighter. And then it does have some lane assist controls and things like that. It does have automatic braking, and it does have a deal that pops up when it thinks you're getting too close to the car in front of you. All right, so I am on the outside of the car now, walking around it, and I just wanted to point out a couple of things. Like I said, this needs a more aggressive front splitter, in my opinion. The side skirts aren't horrible, but they could be a little more aggressive. I do, however, like this. This is a nice little vent, a nice little touch. The wheels look very nice as well. They are a satin black. As you can see, the calipers and the rotors are massive on this CT5V in the front and the rear. Those things are huge. But speaking of huge, that's the way that rear spoiler needs to be, in my personal opinion. I do not like that it has the low spoiler on it. Now, John went with the 2 sunroof option on this car. Some people like that. I'm not a sunroof guy, but you know what? It wasn't that bad. He's got it super tinted along with the rest of the windows, and so it did pretty darn good of keeping the heat out. Now, as far as the front grille goes, I really do like the pattern on this. I really think it looks exotic, actually, the way that they've done this. And there you see the front camera. And yeah, it looks very nice. It's wide open. It's gonna suck in a lot of air for that big ol' supercharger that is on this LT4 motor. The outside of the car looks great. As you guys saw, the interior looks very nice. Very good seats. The Alcantara is in a few spots on the door and on the A-pillar, and then you've got some carbon fiber in there as well. All right, going to what most people would say is their favorite part of the car, underneath the hood, the massive 6.2 liter LT4 Cadillac engine with 668 horsepower. This car is an absolute beast. It even has a strut brace on there for better handling. What a phenomenal looking engine bay. So what do you guys think? You think the twin turbo V6 in the CT4 is a better engine than the LT4 supercharged V8? Let us know in the comments down below. So ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna wrap this review up. I hope you enjoyed it. When it comes to my personal opinion and my conclusion, it's very, very difficult for me to say I would choose the CT5 over the CT4, but I think I would. I think I like the CT5 that much better. It's a hard, like I said, it's a very hard comparison because they're both amazing cars. But that thing is ridiculous. So if you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Brink of Speed yet, please do so. We'd love to have you a part of the community. I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next upload.